a pastor's thoughts on the church and coronavirus. So, Sunday, my church, we held online services, but I was not able to personally go to the online taping live stream of the service and be there in person because, as some of you may know, we recently just relocated from Houston to Pittsburgh, and we're staying with family, and we have some people in the house who are highly susceptible to be affected by the coronavirus. And we made a decision to say we're not going to expose other people even though we ourselves won't be affected. So we didn't go to church on Sunday. We watched online. Well, I am Pentecostal background. That's all I know. I believe in spiritual warfare. Like, I am a lion when it comes to the things of God and spirituality. I love spiritual warfare. I love to be the guy at the forefront on the battle lines, like going to war on behalf of people. That's just who I am. That's what I come from. And so I'm watching online as I'm not able to be there physically. And I'm watching and I'm irritated. I'm frustrated because I'm wrestling within myself of, am I staying home out of fear or am I staying home because it's wise? And who am I thinking about? Is like, what's going on? Am I afraid of this virus? Am I panicked or something? Like, do I not trust God? Like, I'm really going back and forth within myself about this. And I'm watching it, and God starts to convict me, and he starts to deal with me. And he brought something to my remembrance that I frankly haven't heard a lot of pastors talking about, right? I've heard all of the scriptures used. I've heard about when God told them to put the blood over the doorpost when the children of Israel were about to come out of Egypt in Exodus, and all the things that, no harm shall come to you, neither shall any plague come nigh your dwelling. I've heard all of those, and they are 100% true. But God took me a different way, and he brought something back to my remembrance that I wasn't really thinking about. And he took me to Matthew, I believe it's the 4th chapter, right after Jesus gets baptized by John the Baptist. He immediately goes to the wilderness and he fasts 40 days and 40 nights, and then he was tempted of the enemy. And the part that God reminded me of was when the enemy tempted Jesus, he tempted him with 3 different things. And one of the things was, if you are the Son of God, throw yourself off of this mountain because the angels will come and save you. You'll be fine. You have nothing to worry about. And Jesus says something that is very, very interesting to me. And I feel like it correlates with what we're dealing with now. Jesus, all man and all God at the same time, did not throw himself off of the cliff because he knew he would be safe. He in fact tells the enemy, for it is written that you should not tempt the Lord your God. And when God brought that to my remembrance, it blew my mind. It actually settled my worries and convicted me, because I was putting more faith in my faith than faith in God to be God of the situation. I thought that me being on the battle lines was somehow me being this great person for God and me doing something for God, when sometimes God doesn't need your involvement. Sometimes he needs you to sit down and let him do what he's going to do. And so I believe as we're looking at this coronavirus thing, as leaders, as pastors, as business owners, as entrepreneurs who are of the Christian faith, I believe that there is faith, but there's also wisdom. And sometimes you don't need to think about you. You need to think about the people that would be affected by your decisions. And we don't need to be upset or feel like we are living in fear because we're making wise decisions to follow what the government is telling us as it relates to quarantining and social distancing and not spreading this thing around, we need to say, maybe this is for the best. Maybe this is wisdom. Maybe God has given somebody else insight that he has not given to you, and they're now making decisions based off of the insight that God gave them about the solution on how he wants it to go. So, leaders, pastors, people who are making decisions, please, please, please don't live in fear, thinking that you don't have enough faith and making unwise decisions. But rather, let's not tempt God to have to come and save us. Let's use common sense to say, well, maybe God doesn't have to save me. Maybe I can take the preliminary cautions to do what I need to do and protect the people that I have been put over to protect. And that's what I'm doing. And it kind of looks like that's what everybody else is doing. But this is just to encourage you to not listen to people who are trying to bash your faith or tell you that you're not following God or whatever they're trying to tell you. It's okay to use wisdom. It's okay to get understanding about something. Actually, it's biblical. The Bible says, out of all thy getting, get an understanding. We don't understand what this virus is. We don't understand where it comes from. We don't understand how it's moving as rapidly as it is. So we need to get an understanding so we can better adjust ourselves to make better decisions. So we can be in this for the long haul. Corona will not take us out. Corona is not the end of the world. And God is not caught off guard by Corona showing up. I believe he has a plan. I believe he has something in place. And I want you to just rest in that as people are trying to figure this thing out. Let's continue to pray. Let's continue to spread hope and love. Let's continue to connect with people who may be hurting in this season and just extend the grace of God and the gospel of Jesus Christ to them so they can know that God is truly for them. He's not against them. And let's just be wise in what we're doing next.